Also, you have to know your rights. You have to speak up when you have to speak up. Okay, so thank you so much once again. So today I have nobody in the studio, so I have nobody to give high five, I have nobody to laugh with, but I have people on Zoom. So one person is in Switzerland, and thank you so much, Bashir, for joining us today. And I also have in the UK, but really, really far away from me, I also have Alex with me. Today we're talking about community. So we're talking about community issues that affect all of us as Kenyans and also as Africans. But do not touch that button. We are coming back right after the break. See ya.
At World Remit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Okay, thank you so much for not touching that button. Okay, now I'll let my guests introduce themselves. So I'll start with Bashir, all the way from Switzerland. So Bashir, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Thank you very much, Lydia, for the opportunity. And nice to be back again on the program again. My name is Bashi Modi, the president of Kenya Swiss Connection, Switzerland, and the co-founder of Habash Films Production. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bashir. Okay, now I'll let Alex, all the way from the UK. Alex.
Asante, yes. Thank you for having me, Lydia. It's good to be here. An important topic for all of us. I guess I do a number of things, but what's relevant for us today, I am a chairperson of Mawingu, which is a community group that helps people in the UK with bereavement for the moment. So I think, other things that I do, we can talk about them there depending on whether we'll get into that. But yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you so much. I remember I've had the two of you in so many different occasions, especially Bashir, because Bashir represents a very huge and big community of Kenyan community in Switzerland. And I've been twice to two different, I think it's 2 times or 3 times actually. I've been to their events before this Mr. COVID came in, or Mr. COVID, not Mrs. COVID, came in place. But we always discuss about community because we know that we are home away from home. So it's very, very important to join a community. But yet we have some people who think, I don't want to join any community. I don't want to join my community. They have the reasons why. But today, I just want us to talk about how important it is to join a community. Because of late, we have seen, I don't know so much about Switzerland, but in the UK, we have seen, and Alex can bear me witness on this one, we have seen a lot of people that have died by themselves in the house. And we also had one of my friends actually who passed on. But immediately we knew that something was wrong because she contributes a lot in groups. She contributes a lot. And then she wasn't contributing anymore. And we're like, oh, this person. And she was found gone in the house. So things like this is really sad. And we have loads and loads of them. Every time you hear, oh, somebody in this place was found in the house so many months later, or weeks later. Oh. And I know people are saying, what kind of friends do they have? It's not about friends because everybody's busy. We are here away from home, so we are doing things. So you can't be all the time calling somebody. I don't even know how many times I talk to people, to be honest. But we need to be relevant in our communities, relevant with our friends. We need to be relevant. So now I'm going to start with Alex, actually. Alex, tell us more about this Mawingu group, because I know you're the chairman, you're the founder. So tell us more about the Mawingu group. What is Mawingu group?
Well, if you don't mind, maybe I can expand a little before I say what Mawingu is.
Yeah.
Just basically trying to explain what is a community even in the first place. What's a community? And if you think about it, we can get all of these fancy descriptions that can go on Google, and you get all of these academic type of descriptions of what a community is. But generally, instinctively, if you think about a community, it's basically the fact that you belong into a group that is wider than just yourself. So at the very basic level, the fact that you belong to a family is a very basic type of community. Yeah. And then, of course, the more you get to network outside of your family, you're kind of expanding the community, your own little community. And your community may not necessarily be your brothers or your sisters or your parents. You may, depending on who you're interacting with, you form your own communities. So, so in other words, I would say maybe a community is any grouping that is bigger or larger than just yourself. That's what a community is. But then we have an advantage in that community, other than, say, family, which you don't really classify as community, but at a very basic level would be. So if you exclude the family, the rest are environments that we want to engage in out of choice, hopefully, out of choice, and we feel safe in that environment. So which means we want to come back there again. So to interact with these people and, get the fellowship, etc., etc. So, there are many, many benefits of belonging. So I just wanted to first
clarify that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, give an idea of what a community is.
Yes.
And then, again, take it a little bit further and say, for us, people who have come, in fact, for us Kenyans who are, for Kenyans who are still in Kenya, what happens? So you're born and you're in this family, and then your parents belong to communities that they have inherited, so to speak, and made their, and also others that they've made of their own. But when you're born, you belong to your family, and then your parents slowly introduce you to, say, if you're Christian, then they take you to a Sunday school, and you now belong to a small community of other kids in Sunday school, and you go to a nursery, and you belong. So in other words, our parents do the hard work of putting us into communities, and it is almost effortless. It's almost second nature. You don't even think about belonging to a community. By the time you are growing up, you already belong to communities, because you are kind of your hand was held and pointed and directed, and it's second nature. You belong to communities. So for people in places where they were born tend to find it's completely effortless for them. They belong in communities. They hardly even think about it, right? They have even the benefit of wanting to ignore some communities. They have too many. And then you take a flight to come to the UK, call it whatever reason you want, and you land here. Now, nobody's going to hold your hand and tell you, hey, belong to this or that. You might be lucky to find a few people who will. But in general, it's now you're here, right? And you need to belong to a community. Let's not go into the reasons why right now, but you need to belong into a community.
Yes.
Now, if you don't make a conscious effort to belong to a community, you could get left behind. There is no hand-holding, right? You could get left behind. So it is no wonder in some cases you find people do not belong, because you actually have to make that conscious effort to do so. Or you be lucky enough to have friends or family that point you, right? So, Mawingu. Mawingu is a conscious effort of mine to say, look, I need to belong. is there a group like Mawingu? Yes, there might be. So Mawingu, in a very basic terms, is a group of Kenyans coming together saying, when someone in my family or myself pass on, I want to remove the guesswork of who will be at hand to help my family, or who is going to help me when somebody in my family passes. I want to remove that guesswork of who will come. And also, to what extent are they coming, So remove that guesswork. I want to belong to a community that lays that out for me and says, we will come. We will be there with you when a bereavement happens. And we want to show you that to the extent of financial support, we will come to this level of financial support. So that guesswork is gone. I don't need to worry. I don't need to think about that.
Yes.
When such a thing happens, I know, at least I've got people that I can count on straight away. So I now turn my focus into the things that really matter, which is to help my family in terms of going through these emotions that are associated with bereavement.
Yes.
So that's why when I looked around, I did find one or two, but for various reasons, I decided, you know what? No harm in me just creating one that will allow people from across the UK, because a lot of the groups tend to be very regional focused.
Yes.
So I thought I needed a group where we can meet people across the whole UK. And that's important because some people are in pockets where there aren't that many Kenyans. So they need to have a place where they can come in and fit in and belong. And hence creation of Mawingu to say, you're welcome. Come here, join us. We are a part of your community. Take the guesswork out of a very difficult situation in terms of wanting to know who's going to be there with you. So a long way of answering your very simple question.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex. You went into so much details that even the questions I wanted to ask, you've actually answered them already. So thank you so much, Alex, for that. So I'll come back to Bashir as well, and I'll ask Bashir the same question. So tell us more about the Kenya Swiss Connect. Bashir.
Thank you very much, Lydia. Well explained, Alex, and we've really put it into details and in the category it's supposed to be. Kenya Swiss Connection is an association which is based in Switzerland, one of the association which is basically based in Switzerland, in a city called Lausanne. It was first founded by a lady who's well known by the name of Sarah Muller.
Yeah.
And some couple of team members also who actually sat down and thought, like, how do we connect Kenyans together? How do we bring Kenyans together? How do we make a home away from home?
Right.
And that was the thing which was most important, because as we all know that when you leave home, you don't have another brother, you don't have another sister, except the only person who can watch your back is your fellow Kenyan brother or sister. So how do we get along? How do we get to know each other? How do we communicate? How do we sit down and share knowledge together? How do we advise each other? How do we motivate each other mentally? And also stand for each other, etc., etc. Because why we needed this association is because we sat down and saw that there is one major problem which faces us here, actually not us, but I would rather put it as a diaspora everywhere, which is depression problem.
Yeah.
And with the depression problem, you either sometimes need somebody to listen to you or somebody to talk to you through about it. But if you don't have anybody, then, or you try to man up with this problem alone, then definitely it could lead you to a very worse situation and find yourself in a very bad position. So that was one reason. The second reason was, how do we sit down and gather and celebrate our national days together?
Yes.
And third, how do we get to look after our kids who are here, who are born here? How do we teach them the culture of of Kenya? How do we tell them the history of Kenya, the literature, so that they can know where they're basically the other half of their roots is? So these are one of the reasons that why we created this. And so far so good. We are 6 years.
Wow.
6 years strong, whereby we have a couple of events that we do. One of the event is Mombasa by Night, which is an event which is more to promote and also educate the sides of Mombasa. So
in fact, I came to that event.
Yes. And you came to this event, yes, and twice.
Yes, twice. And the first time I came, I was so intrigued by the decorations. I was like, wow. I've been to so many events, especially in the UK. There was nothing like that. Nothing like the decorations you guys had. And then something else that actually caught my eye as well when I was in Switzerland in that event, almost all your children speak Swahili. And perfect Swahili, not that Nairobi Swahili that we speak. Perfect Swahili. So man, you guys.
What's wrong with our Swahili?
No, you guys are doing good. I'm proud of you guys. Go on. Sorry. I had to come in.
Nairobi Swahili si ndio hiyo mimi si nini the new song. Mimi sipangi wangu wingi. So it keeps getting better every time, is it?
Oh my God, that's Swahili, man. Just leave us alone. Leave us alone with our Swahili.
Anyway, just to continue shortly about that. So you've been to the first 2 events from our side, from Mombasa by Night. It's more promoting the south side of Mombasa, of Kenya, so that also the tourists who are here, they can just, learn something about the food, the culture, the languages are spoken, the traditional, etc. And then we have the Mashujaa Day, whereby it's celebrated wildly everywhere in diaspora also. So we try also to put our Mashujaa Day so we can also celebrate our national days and involve our ambassador who is here and some of the diplomats who are living in Switzerland, and everybody comes together so we can be proud as who we are as Kenyans and raise our flag and kujivunia as a Kenyan, Yeah, and we have also projects that are going outside Switzerland. Like, for example, we have schools, we have children that we are teaching, who we have also supported in school. We have projects that we have opened. And good news is that we have one of our executive in our team who is now campaigning to go into the Parliament of Switzerland.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a she.
Yes.
And we are very, very proud of that. Ingawa tuko na mmoja ambayo yuko ndani tayari. She's living in Zurich, so this must be the second one. And we have a Kenyan man also in one canton called Argao, who is also going in. So we have 3 Kenyans now in the parliament. So this makes us proud as Kenyans living here in Switzerland.
Yes.
That we don't have that bad name as people gave us before, and they thought just Kenyans are just people to party and drink. But in other words, like now going in towards this direction, they see that how important it is, and now you see. The more we keep on going like this, the more the young ones are inspired by this, and they also want to try and go in, And these are the things. That's why Kenya-Swiss Connection, we keep trying hard. So we now have an umbrella in Switzerland.
Yes.
Our Kenyan-Swiss umbrella, of which we are trying to connect with other European diasporas and see how it goes. The whole goal about it is to see that the whole diasporas who we are outside Kenya. It doesn't matter whether you're in South America, India, you're out in some country in South Africa or wherever, but as long as you're out of Kenya, we would like all of us to be one thing.
Exactly.
Have one voice, have one goal. Maybe this is a hope for us to go back to Kenya and make Kenya better as it was before. Yeah. There's too much to explain about it, but according to time, I think this should do it.
Oh, thank you so much. So we can see that our communities, they're not just for bereavement, but they're also for, we celebrate each other and we celebrate our own national days or in Kenya now. So when they're celebrating in Kenya, we are also celebrating. So those are things that part of what communities do. And we also celebrate our culture. It's about togetherness. We don't leave people who are lonely outside, but we are there with them, especially now, like you rightfully said, about depression. So we are there. And we also facilitate workshops, different workshops, which are educational, transformational, motivational, so, and all these things happen. And we're talking about Kenyans in parliament, even here in the UK, the ones that I know of, because I'm sure there are plenty, because I don't know about all Kenyans, but the ones that I know of, I know we had Elizabeth Kang'ethe, she was a mayor, and she's still a councillor up to now, so we're very proud of her. And we also have Juliet Makapila also, who is actually running right now, so we pray that she wins. Also, she's also a Kenyan. And we also had Josh, who just missed with just few numbers. And those are the ones that I know of. But we also have Kenyans here in the UK that are trying to enter politics, which is good. But I'm not a politician, so I already know all of them. Okay, so thank you so much, Bashir and Alex, for that explanation. So you've actually answered my second question, which was what made you start or what made you set up. But you've actually, both of you have answered it correctly. So the one that I wanted to ask was as well, what is my personal benefit? I know people always say, come and give to the community, give back. But if somebody just wants to join and just say, because we know we have those silent killers, or naitwanga silencers. So what is my benefit for joining a community? If I wanted to join a community, what's my benefit? So I'll start with Alex, please.
The benefits of belonging to a community, I would think there are very many. I'll try and give a few, which are the obvious ones to most of us. So like I said earlier, belonging to a community means you are able to belong to something that is greater than you. And hopefully, you're achieving something that is bigger than just the sum of the parts. 1 + 1 becomes 3 in this case. So why should I belong to a community? So firstly, I think it's a need. It's a human need. I think it's Maslow, Abraham Maslow, who was, when he was giving the hierarchy of needs, he said, you meet your basic needs, food, shelter, clothing first. And then the second layer of the needs that you have, and it is a need, is you want to belong. You want to connect. I hope I'm referring to the right
yes, you are.
person. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a human need. And if we look at ourselves at another even very more basic level, apes and that, they are social. They are social. So you kind of need to. They tend to not be like some birds where you find a bird is on its own for almost forever. Yeah. So us, we are social. We are social beings. So
yeah, because that's what they say. No man is an island. We all
no man is an island. Yeah. It's a good example. So those are some of the reasons why you need to belong. But then, what do you get out of it? Well, I think there's a connection which we get. There's a satisfaction we get by interacting with people. It's a connection. It's one of the things that we're starting to realize now during COVID, that when we've been locked down and you haven't met people, you actually start to realize, I do need to interact with people, right? Maybe sometimes you can't figure out why, but you feel you need that connection with people. So there is that element that satisfies something that is inside us, that is kind of innate in us to want to connect. So we kind of connect. Some people call it fellowship. That's another thing you get out of it. But then even if you extend it a little bit more, there's networking. You grow your networks by belonging in a community, and we know the benefits of having a network. Right?
Yeah.
Whether they end up being financial benefits, relationship benefits, the list is endless. So many. I'll mention just one last one, just because of the COVID situation that we are in right now. I think that belonging to a community does have some well-being benefits, right? So just being able to interact with people who are not necessarily having a big agenda other than just enjoying your company in whatever thing it is that you enjoy interacting with them in. For example, we like playing golf, let's say. Just being in that group of people who enjoy the same thing that you do. You hit the ball usually badly, but you're there, you have a bit of a laugh, and it kind of takes away the hassle of just generally being a working adult, right? So we have all of these things that are dependent on us, so you kind of get away from it by belonging to this group, and for the moment where you're in that community, you are benefiting from that little distressing a little bit.
Yes.
Your mental well-being. So I'll leave it there because I know Bashir also needs to chip in a little bit.
Yes, Bashir.
Atapata tics mbili tatu.
Okay, sawa, asante sana. Bashir, is there anything ungependa kuongezea hiyo point or?
Yes, I would add few points, and just to spice it more up, of which I mean basically the whole basement he has explained.
Yes.
In short, which I agree very much. I think I would say if I was asked that why should I become part of the community, what benefits are there, I would say probably inspiration and motivation, which means in a strong community there's always somebody or somewhere doing something amazing which can have the effect of inspiring you or to go harder and achieve bigger goals. I would say maybe contacts, meeting new people, opportunities which are there. Successful people are always doing cool stuff, and when you're associated with them, you are often to go along for the ride, or whether it is a social activity. Fun also in a way, but most important thing is to understand why is a community important. Why is it important? Because if you decide to go in, or you're being invited, you have to realize first of all, do I accept? Is that what I want? First of all, and why should I join in? And these are the benefits coming, but you need to understand why is it important first to join in. So I think being part of a community makes us feel as though we are part of something greater than ourselves. It gives us opportunities to connect with each other or people, to reach for our goals, to make us even feel safe and secure, like Alex had said before. Sharing knowledge, like I'd mentioned. And I would say a true community is about being connected and responsible for what happens, as well as caring for each other, standing up for each other, motivating each other mentally again. And in short, I would just say it's a social unit. So of which somebody has to really know, I feel safe in this when I join these people. I feel trusted. Do I trust these people? And etc. etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So I'll come back because I know we have some community groups that only allow a certain group of people to join. Either it's only men, it's only women, it's only a certain tribe, because we have those ones as well. Or living in this area, if you're in North London, or maybe if you're in Basel. I know Basel because I've been there, so let me just boast a little bit. So if you're in Basel, or if you're in Zurich, or wherever you are. So I'll start with Alex on this one. Who qualifies to join Mawingu? How does somebody qualify to join Mawingu? Alex?
Like, I'd said earlier, maybe, when we were forming Mawingu, it was meant to be just completely open, that anybody in the country, in the UK, who is a Kenyan, who would want to have some certainty around, bereavement and bereavement support, could join. And we don't want to change that. It's important, though, that the people that would want to join Mawingu, that they buy into that wholeheartedly. So it's not, sometimes people join groups for for the wrong reasons, right?
Yes.
So I think so.
That's why we'll talk about that later. So many politics in different groups, and that's why. So like what you said.
Yeah. So I think we don't really have a qualification process as such to say certain people don't. I think people would disqualify themselves on the basis that if they don't buy into what we are trying to achieve here. Yeah. So otherwise, it's open for everybody to join. Of course, there are small things here and there about paying a certain amount of money to support the group and support each other, but it's not amounts of money that that would bother many people. I don't think, right? I think that everybody is welcome. And as long as you believe that you would want that kind of certainty around you when it comes to bereavement, then you're welcome to reach out.
Okay, thank you so much. So it's just a small contribution to sustain the group, really, because for sustainability we need some finances to run it. So it's just something small. Okay, thank you so much. So in the UK, because we know we have a lot of different boroughs or cities, or the way you can call it, in the UK. So if you live in whichever area you live in, whichever borough you live in, it doesn't matter if you're in Wales or Aberdeen, those are the farthest places that we have. Or
I know.
Yes.
I mean, I'd even go further to say you're not even restricted to say the fact that you belong to another bereavement group. Even that doesn't disqualify you from joining Mawe. You can actually be part of another bereavement group, but still feel, you know what, I like the sound of this one too, so I'll join. It's not like, say, for example, you're over-insuring yourself, so to speak.
Yes. Huyu yuko kwa groups nyingi sana tumtaki hapa.
Huyu yuko group mingi wachana naye. No, it's not that. So people are welcome to join anywhere you are in the country. Feel free, join, reach out to us, and we can talk about it and see that it's of mutual benefit that you join. But no bureaucracies about the process of joining.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex. I don't know if Bashir has the same thing, like you need qualification. You need to have a master's degree or... we're laughing. Okay, Bashir. What qualifies you to join Kenya Swiss Connection?
Kenya Swiss Connection is about connecting people together. Every person is most welcome. The doors are open not only for Swiss people, but also if you are living. We have members who are living in UK.
Wow.
We have members. Yes, we have members who are from Germany.
I'm going to join today. I'll join.
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. You're most welcome. Because you see, this is the connection we're talking about. You understand? And we need to go in with that flow. It is having a Kenya away from Kenya, home away from home.
Exactly.
Now there are many things that are happening here. But how do we solve these problems, the few challenges that we are facing every day? The first thing that we learned by Kenya Swiss Connection is hatuna ukabila. That one we don't need. I mean,
that is a killer.
Yeah, it will take a Luo, it will take a Kikuyu, it will take a Giriama, it will take a Luya, it will take a Kamba. That is why we are called Kenya. And all these tribes make Kenya special. It's, if you want to cook, you need oil, maybe you need onions, you need some spices, you need salt. Sasa hizi zote ndo hizi kabila in order to give you a very tasty sauce. And you can have a nice meal and enjoy.
Na pilipili ndio akina nani hapo kwa hiyo?
Hapo sasa njoo kwetu sasa Mombasa, huko ndo sasa kwetu mapilipili. But you see that is the thing. That's why we decided to open the Kenya Swiss, and we have so many members and people who have problems, and we have the welfare also, because welfare is very important, because once you're in this country, we don't know what time one is going to face death, which is a natural thing. But the question is, wewe unataka kuzikwa nyumbani kwenu ama you want to be unataka kuchomwa huku urusho juu ya milima huko? Yeah?
Yeah.
These are the things we need to understand. So if you're from home, I say for me, as the president, it is best that you're taken back home. Ulikuja toka nyumbani, it's good mwili yako iregeshwe kwa watu wenu, so you can have a decent burial.
But that's preference, though. That's preference.
Yes, but this is just one thing, welfare, which is inside. Another thing is we have charity events, and then we have also situations where people have actually very tough cornered problems whereby they have no clue of how to solve their problems. Maybe bills, maybe they have a problem with their marriage and they need a lawyer or something. They need a way how they can get these things easy, or bills or stuff like that. This is where we come in, we sit down. If you trust us that much, or you want to sit down with one person, there's always a spokesperson in our group who will sit down and listen to you. And then we will sit down as a group and see how we can solve this. And it's just not that seriousness, but we like to also gather around. We like to meet the new Kenyans who are here in Switzerland, meet them, talk to them, get to know them, invite them over to a few events. And that's it, you see. And now we have more projects that are coming in from Kenya Swiss Connection, of which we would like to go to schools and give Swahili literature about Kenya, so that they can know. Do you know why? Because I was shocked about a couple of years back, is that there were kids who were doing a survey in a city where I went, which was right next to Switzerland and Germany. And this survey, they came to me, they saw the flag of Kenya, and they came up to us, and then they asked me, do you know a country in East Africa called Kikuyu? So I thought probably I didn't hear well. So I said, what? Say it again, please, come back again. And he said, I'm looking for a country in East Africa called Kikuyu.
Wow.
I said, where did you learn this? They said, in school. I said, what? So it clicked to me and said, you know what? As part of Kenya Swiss Connection, to have one lecture per month, 1 hour in a school, and explain about shortly, make it quite shortly and interesting, about the Big Five, about the history about Kenya, a few of the tribes and a few of the sub-locations and etc., the cities, capital city, etc. And and then we ask them few questions to know if they have understood, and then just give them the motivating presence, like a t-shirt says Hakuna Matata or something like that, or one of the Kenyan bracelets, these nice bracelets that we have, or a giraffe or a Maasai or something. This motivates them. And this way it shows that we are doing a good job, because even Kenyans who are living here, I said, you want to live here and get integrated here, but you need to know something about this country. So if you're coming here and you're expecting to get a passport and you don't know the history about this country and you don't know nothing about this country, then I don't know what you're doing here, because you're living here, so you need to know something about that. And I think it is good for us if we have to sell Kenya, so that we can have more tourists going to our country and appreciating our country. Why can't we start with the kids in school? Hakuna inchi inaitwa Kikuyu. Inchi gani inaitwa Kikuyu? I was really shocked, and I said, is this what they teach you in school? Maybe they need a hand, a helping hand, and we don't have a problem. And last but not least, we are trying to see that Swahili is accepted in this country as a language of translation also, in a way. So we are fighting very hard in that side. So Kenya Swiss Connection is a flexible association. Anybody is welcome. And by the way, it's not only Kenyans, we have Swiss people. One of my executive is from Jamaica.
All right.
Yeah. So it's what I'm saying. Connection. We are Kenyans and the Swiss people living here, or the ones we found here. We connect
the name
we connect
says it all,
together. Exactly.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bashir, for that. And I know what you're trying to do. It's very interesting what you're trying to do, because sometimes when I've spoken to the Foreign Affairs Office in Kenya, and they always ask, you people as diaspora, do you have one umbrella? Do you have an umbrella? And I said, well, we have different countries that are trying that, and some have actually succeeded. So like in America, and Bashir, I know you're part of them as well, we have the One Voice Consortium, and One Voice Consortium has more than 100,000 diasporans. So it has really, really tried, and it's trying so much to unite diasporans under one umbrella. And under the One Voice Consortium, we also have Alkana, and a lot of Africans know who Alkana is, and she is actually trying to teach Swahili. So they do Swahili lessons every Saturday to the whole of the world, not just to Africans or to the people in the US. They do Swahili. So if you join them, every Saturday they have up to 250 people joining to learn the Swahili lessons. Last time I was there was almost 300 people. So they're doing so well, the One Voice Consortium. And then we also have the Switzerland, where you just said everybody's welcomed, everybody's invited. And what you guys are doing is actually good, especially going to schools and teaching our culture. And then we also have in France, we have Kifua, the Kenyans in France Umbrella Association. They're also trying, and they've been there almost more than 4 years. And I know you've been there for 6 years now as well. So I think other people should lead from you guys, or should borrow, how did you guys make it? Like in France, they've been there for more than 4 years. We've been there for 6 years. One Voice Consortium has been there for 2 years now. But look at how many people they have under the umbrella. So so what you guys are doing out there, cooking this mokimo na machapati moja muna join na nyama choma na sijui ni gani hizo zingine zote combined.
But you see, the thing is that trying to get Kenyans to be one, it's the most difficult thing you can ever do.
Let me do this.
But
Jasho.
Yes. It needs a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And trying to educate these people. Manake, you have some people coming in here and saying, mimi nimekuja na ndege yangu naangalia maisha yangu.
Yes.
And that's really not fair in a way. Because when you have a problem, you will come back to those Kenyans that you told them that.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, we all know the reality of this continent where we are living. Ukitokea na shida, I mean, they just look at you and tell you don't have friends, you don't have associations, or you don't have anybody. So I'm sorry. Hiyo ndo kitu anakuambia, unabakia peke yako. The only thing you think about is going back.
And that comes to my next question, actually. My next question was, can you help anybody outside your group, outside your circle, whether it's through death, it's through hospitalization, through loss of income, and through if they need support, psychological support, or they need child care? I mean, can you support somebody who is outside the group? So I'll start with Alex.
So I think under obviously the main objective of Mawingu, then that we wouldn't come in as Mawingu as such on that basis. This would mean what we would do is, as members of Mawingu, we could individually decide, you know what, there is somebody who actually needs some help, and we can try and help out. I mean, if I give a simple example, maybe a more recent example, is yourself, Lydia, you've reached out at least once and said, there's somebody here who's facing a little bit of a problem.
Yes.
Can we try and at least chip in a little bit? And if you remember, members in their own capacity,
yes, you did.
They would reach out and say, yes, I do want to help out, in this case, it could be like financial giving, which, to be fair, is the easiest way out, right? Just going into your pocket and giving some money is actually the easy option.
Yes.
What you're asking is a little bit more than that. So somebody's out there, they can't go to work for, maybe they are unwell, right? So they need much more than somebody just throwing them a check because you need to eat, you need your place looked after, you've got kids, So in that sense, I think that's why belonging to a community helps, because in that sense, the community members realize that although, for example, this Mawingu, this isn't a bereavement, this person needs something a little bit more than what we would offer as in the umbrella of Mawingu.
Yes.
But because we know them, and not because we know them, we are human, we realize that there is a need here that we can help.
Yes.
We would reach out. Of course we would reach out. We would absolutely reach out. And it wouldn't necessarily be held in this context of saying it is Mawingu. This would be people, in one umbrella, yes, coming together, but it necessarily wouldn't be like everybody. But we would, yes, we would reach out to people.
It's more of an individual basis or individual capacities that right now.
Yeah, exactly, yes. Yeah. And there's a lot of satisfaction that we get from giving, even though we sometimes don't have what we're being asked to give. But the fact that you actually go in and contribute in some way, whether it is in your own time,
yes.
whether it is in some knowledge that you have, whether it is some contacts that you can give this person, whatever, we can all help in some way. And when we do, there is some satisfaction that comes out of it, which thank goodness we get that, because it allows us to do it again and again. Hata kama mtu unajua unaenda ukagonga ukaumia, you forget, right? You come back, you still come back again. So yeah, I think there wouldn't be. I think it's very unfortunate the people who slip through that connect somehow and get missed out.
Yes.
But for most people who do reach out, yes. The answer would first of all be a yes, and then it's a question of how.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, and I'm being honest here, with a lot of groups that I know, especially me being in the UK, a lot of groups I know, Mawingu is actually different, and that's why I thought you come on board today and talk about it, because as much as if somebody is not in the group, they're not going to be helped from the group, is individual, but the fact that you've allowed it to be said in the group, because some groups, you're not even allowed to say anything like that. You're not allowed to bring and say, oh, so-and-so lost this person, or so-and-so is going through this, or so-and-so is lost, or so-and-so is this. Can somebody help? You're not allowed to do that. It's only the people that are part of that group. But with Mawingu is, you can come and then on individual capacity, if somebody wants to help, and which I always find a lot of people are always willing to help. And I know that I've brought things in the group and they've helped them. So I'll be a witness of all that.
I'm a big proponent of this, Lydia, that you must utilize your network, right? You must. Yes. What is the point of a network if you don't use it, right? So if you are in a network and then someone is telling you, don't do this, don't promote this or don't promote that, then what is the point of that network?
Yes.
So utilize your network, allow people to use it. Of course, we're not saying abuse it. There is a difference. But
yes, exactly.
Allow people to use it. Yeah.
Yes. And now, I don't know if Bashir wants to add on to something as well, or Bashir, with the Swiss Connect as well, with the Kenya Swiss connection. Do you just asking the same question that I asked Alex, or if you want to pass is fine. Do you help somebody who is outside the Swiss connection?
As long as humanity exists as a community,
thank you.
Society, because a group is much more powerful than individuals. I think it is most important that we do assist a lot of people in different problems. If we assisted kids back at home who are not living here, definitely there is that space in between our hearts that we have to listen to people, and many people come with different problems. Especially the biggest problem is when you have a member of your family who's passed away, and we all know that how it goes down here. Wa kwanza anaangaliwa ni mtu wa diaspora. Sasa matanga ni aje?
Hata maziwa kutengea wazee wageni chai.
Exactly. So we don't wait.
Yeah.
As long as we've got the report that one of our member, or even if it's a member of Kenya Swiss Connection or not, it's just an individual member anywhere na amefiliwa, we are always standing forward to see, okay, people, even if it's 20 francs, come on, let's contribute as much as we can and give it, because we definitely know this is going to hit this person back at the end of the day.
Yes.
They will definitely get a telephone, tuma pesa, sijui nini, all those kind of things. So by that, we also give him hope and show him that we stand with you during these difficult trial moments. So that's what I mean by humanity has to be inside there. So we don't really think about whatever it is. So long as you've come to us, we always believe every problem has an answer. Every problem has a solution. Every question has an answer. If you came to us, we have the ears for you.
Amen.
And then we will sit down as an association or as a community, and we speak to all other associations and we spread the word out and we give each one the power, or maybe to say the duty or responsibility to say, okay, from your association, get us what you can get us from this association, and then bring it all in the umbrella and let's give it to this person, and we wish him all the best, and give him our condolences, etc.
Okay, thank you so much. And now here comes my next question, is all about why some people shy away from joining groups. I know that some groups, there's so much politics. Oh God, there's so much politics. It's all about who knows who, or who likes who doesn't like this one. Somebody said, somebody did not say. There's so much politics, and because of that, some people just shy away. They don't want to join. Either they join this community, they're out because, so there's so much politics. And also, I just want to say, while I'm talking about this politics, and that's why some people just shy away from groups. And then we also have some people who their destination or their destiny or their goal, I don't even know how to call it, is to join a group and make sure that they destroy it totally, because maybe they feel like this is how this group, the dictatorship. There's so many things. That's why people shy away from group. There's some leaders who are just dictatorship. There are some people who are in the group, but they're not leaders, but they want to be leaders by force. They don't know even how this started. There's so many things that we can say it until tomorrow without finishing. But before I ask Bashir this, how do we either avoid things like this, or how do we talk to people who are shying away to join regardless? I just want to say thank you so much to Sarah, because when I came to Kenya Swiss Connection, it was actually Sarah who was still the chairlady.
The president and chairlady.
Yeah, but for her to actually step down and give it to someone else, and she was the founder or one of the founders, I salute her, because we have people who, hey, in Yagu, come on, funny friend, you know those ones. In Yagu. So we have those as well. And that's why there's a lot of people who are like, you know what, I can't deal with these things. Because there's some people who are introverts. And the introvert people, if they see, they just, I'm out. So how do we avoid things like this? So I'll start with Bashir. It's two questions there. How do we avoid, and how do we encourage others to just come regardless?
Thank you very much, Lydia. First of all, we need to understand that we have to acknowledge whether the people who have joined these associations or the community do understand really about the community itself or the association, the purposes of why it is there or she's there, what are the benefits again, and what are not the benefits from there. Because somebody would misunderstand something and say, like, I'm joining a community thinking that all my problems will be solved. Financially, that comes first, which is absolutely the wrong direction. Otherwise, secondly, we might face racial profiling among ourselves, which is quite much, and humility, which is there, you understand. And I'll just give small examples, like, where kwani uko na nini, what do you have, una nyumba, wewe unafanya kazi gani, umeletwa hapa Ulaya na nani, etc. And those are things that have nothing to do with that breaks up, because it's humiliating people, or unatoka kabila gani, or something like that, because that is the number one killer. That is worse than cancer itself. Hiyo kabila.
Wewe vile ulikuja hapa ulikunatembea tu, hata uko na bike, sasa una drive gari unajisikia.
So such words, instead of motivating somebody and saying, hey, you came here, you have integrated, you have moved so far, you're doing well, you're an inspiration. Thank you very much, and I want to get to be on the same road as you are, you know, and this is the good thing. But instead, we like stepping each other because of jealousy. We are jealousy, and secondly, we mix the jealousy with racial profiling, and on top of that is not respecting each other as human beings, as country fellow men and women. And just to see, kwa sababu yeye ni Muislamu, kwa sababu yeye ni Mkatoliki, kwa sababu yeye ni Buddhism. It has all nothing to do with this. And once you start doing this, that is the virus which grows inside if nobody does anything about it.
Yeah.
We have to actually stand up and sit down and say, you know what? No, that's not the way. You understand? So I think these are some of the challenges that we usually face at most, which is the respect, racial profiling. Na manake racial profiling goes on na ukabila and all these kind of things, job na nini, everything sa. Oh, wewe huzai ama sijui wewe nini.
I tell you, that's deep. Wewe huzai, that's deep.
Trust me, it happens.
That's deep, man.
And these are people who are actually having a depression problem, and they're not taking it out, and they want to take it out to anybody. Na inatoka vibaya.
Yeah.
And that is very bad. Yeah. So we have to actually, like I said, we have to be patient when it comes to these things. We have to be really patient because Rome was not made also in one day.
Exactly.
But we have to keep on going, no matter how challenging it's going to be. But if we start with a good example and inspire people, the next elected people will follow our steps. And it will keep on. And the more it goes in, you cannot treat hate with hate, but you can treat hate with love.
That's right.
And that is the best thing. So I would say that to solve these problems, one needs to determine the problem first, and then think of several possibilities or several possible solutions to the problem, consider the consequences for each of their solutions, and pick up the solution you think will work best.
Thank you so much. So I'll ask Alex the same question.
Yeah, I mean, Bashir has said it really, really well, and broken it down into a lot of detail. I can see the challenge sometimes in picking up a question second, but I can add at least one or two things. Okay. So when there are challenges in a group that somebody belongs to, in fact, let me take it back a little bit. Before you even choose to join a group, it is absolutely important that you clearly understand the goals of the group and align them to yours. Do they actually align?
Yes.
So if the goals aren't very clear or the mission isn't very clear, then surely your role in it is not going to be very clear. But at least understand the main vision.
Yes.
And then if it aligns to yours, then I think the next thing is to also understand a little bit about both the members and the leaders. Just a little bit. You may not know all the members, but just have a little idea about the membership and the leaders in the community that you're about to join. It helps. In certain cases, that might be more difficult to do without actually joining. But if you can, it is helpful. Why? Because it's not that you're doing it to judge people, but you're doing it in order to allow yourself to fit in better, right? It's not that you want to judge people. But then what I'd say is that once you are actually in a group, then it's important to just open yourself to accepting people for who they are. People come with different personalities and different ways of expressing things. Accept them for who they are. However, it doesn't mean that when there are disagreements and arguments that you should engage in them. That just spoils everything. In fact, in the people who are doing that kind of thing are the people that you would want to understand a bit better, right? Why they want to engage in arguments and things like that in a group. Because I think there was somebody who once said that, there are certain types of arguments that don't really have a winner. Because whoever feels they have won, they haven't, because what they have done is that the person they were trying to convince has only gone further, has only just stopped arguing with them and has gone further in believing their own view and not accepting your view. They've even gone further out, just that they're not engaging with you any further. So the argument ends, but you're much further apart than if you never even started.
Yes.
So, but I think also it's important that, when you join a group, contribute, and in some cases you get some feedback that you don't like. But as long as it's genuine, it's good. It's good to contribute because everyone benefits better that way. Right?
Yes.
But another thing that is very important is the leadership, and leaders need to have a great deal of humility.
Yes.
A great deal of humility. Especially in community groups, leadership is not a hierarchy. Leadership is service in a community. You're serving. So, putting ourselves up there is, I think, probably the worst thing we can do, because you're meant to be of service to others. If you are, taking an example from what's in the Bible, we are washing the feet of others.
That's right.
Yeah. If all else fails, and a member still feels actually, what is this? Then you can leave and create your own, which you feel that others aren't actually fulfilling in their groups. Create one.
Simple.
And
make it
simple very clear. Exactly. All right. Create your own.
Yeah. We have some people who watch and do something. We have some people who watch to learn. We have some people who watch and say nothing, regardless of what's happening, either good or bad. And we also have people who watch to destroy. So we have all kind of humans. But like you said, if you have good leadership, and to be a leader, I believe that you are born to be a leader. Because if you're taught to be a leader, there's some qualifications that you won't probably have. But if you're born to be a leader, you're a very good leader. But we also have people who just come. And like you said, Alex, if you feel like this is not being run properly, go and start yours and see. Like when I go to events, I laugh because I was... when I even went to Switzerland event one day, there are some people who just come to criticize, just to look, ile kufanywa vizuri, look at how that one was, and then they call other people, usikuje, kitu ni rubbish, usikuje, and usikuje, but they're there. You understand? So we have all those sort of people, and that's a discussion for another day. Actually, I'm not even going to go into it because that's a long one. Okay, so we leave that there. But I just want to ask Bashir. I just want you to talk to Africans or stroke Kenyans who are home away from home. Those are people who are in the diaspora. So I just want you to talk to African stroke Kenyans who are home away from home when it comes to joining a community or belonging to a community. So Bashir, because of time. Bashir is mute. Okay, yeah, cool.
Nico.
Okay.
Pole, nilikuwa na wageni wameingia saizi.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. You can refresh the question, please. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. I said I want you to just talk to Africans stroke Kenyans who are away, who are home away from home, because this is our home right now in the UK.
Yes.
But my home is actually Kenya. I'm actually a typical Kenyan. So talk to Africans or Kenyans who are home away from home and would like to join a community for them to feel like they belong somewhere, or just to encourage them to join, even if they're contemplating or still debating with themselves, should I not? So
first of all, what would I say? My inputs towards that, to them, I would say that they should actually join a community or an association, because being with your people is powering your people, powering yourself, powering your flag. And being yourself will never ever solve anything. Even when you try to man up, you will always end up being in a tight corner somehow, somewhere. So it is best to join. And if you have to join, then I think it is best also to learn. Just like my brother Alex had said, first of all, if you're being invited to an association, get the concept of it, to know what these people are doing, what is inside, what is involved, why is this community taking place, when did it start, and etc., so that you can fit yourself into that small box to understand that where am I involving myself. Because if you go into a community where you don't fit because you didn't understand it, then you're lost. You're a lost sheep.
Yeah.
But it is best always to ask first, okay, it's this one, this one. Can you give me just the concept or the inputs? I need to know more about this association. What do you do? What are you involved in yourself in? Unaona? And like I said, the communities or the associations are always different. There's a religious association or a religious community. There's a community maybe specifically for one tribe. Yeah. Of which we know there's Utaskia. This is the Luo community, this is that community, this is the Kikuyu community, these are the Arab communities. Well, I don't have a problem about that because it shows that they are supporting their own not, I would not like to use the word race, which is not fair.
Culture.
Because nikisema culture, ni culture, ushaona.
Yeah.
But I would really highly recommend that one or two people should try and get themselves or involve themselves in an association, because you start with an association to have a community.
Yeah.
Bila association hamwezi kuwa na community. And there are small, you can start with small communities, like, you can have a small community from Leeds maybe, the few Kenyans living in Leeds, the few Kenyans living in Manchester or in London or here in Switzerland, in Bern or Zurich or somewhere, and then come into the big one. And that's how we started. We started small, and now we're at large, 6 years strong, and we're still moving, and we've tried to create other associations, and we're bringing all these associations to be one umbrella. We want one Kenya. Because the initiatives and the concepts of every association, regardless, at the end of the day, it's the same.
Yeah.
We want Kenyans being united. We want Kenyans to be like that. We want to do this event. We want to do the Madaraka Day, the Mashujaa Day, the Moi Day, whatever it is. We all want to take the same compliments to the embassy. We need the help because of that, mambo welfare and etc. But what if we all have all heads of departments from all these associations sitting together as an umbrella, feeding the feedback, getting the feedback back to its members and the fellow executives, and then all of us come inside and become one feast.
Yeah.
Vidole tano vinaweza kuchukua tonge ya wali mzuri sana kuliko vidole viwili. Ushaona? A whole hand can.
Hiyo Kiswahili ni burudia.
Nakwambia vidole vitano vyaweza chukua vikatengeza tonge nzuri ya wali.
Tonge ni
kuliko it's like ugali, you press it with 5 fingers. So the rice, when you hold the rice, you can get it into a formal shape, figure, and it can fit very well into your mouth.
Aha, wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say. But my point of view is, I really would love to see diasporas living in the continent of Europe, India, South Asia, in the Latin American countries, or whatever it is in the Caribbean. Please, if we can come together, you can imagine how powerful we can be. And when we go back to Kenya, we can bring all these ideas and change. We cannot change the whole country, but we can stop some few things which we find that they're not going very well. I don't really have much to say on that, but I really consider to see. It is my dream. It is my wish to see that Swiss diaspora and England diaspora become one thing. We get married, and also Germany come inside, France come inside, Holland.
To divorce.
Unajua hii ndoa haina divorce. That is the problem about hii ndoa. Ukiingia umeingia.
Okay, sawa.
Kwa hivyo it's not a handshake, but it's a wedding, because I will need you, you will need me, so that both of us, your ideas, my ideas, our inspiration together, we can inspire our brothers and sisters who actually don't have the voice back in Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much, Bashir. I'll ask Alex the same. Alex, I just want you to talk to Africans or Kenyans who are home away from home. This just the same question as I asked Bashir. Please.
I think Kenyans we are in the same scenario. We are away from home. We are trying to make where we are our home. I think the most important thing I would say is, like I had said right at the beginning, make a conscious effort to actually go out and get yourself exposed to as many people as possible, to many opportunities that allow you to interact with people. You have to make a conscious effort. If you wait, you might get exposed to some things, but there will be much, much fewer than if you decided for yourself to make an effort to reach out and connect with people. So it's uncomfortable, but it is important, right? And then when you do get that exposure and you now feel like you want to belong to a group, this is just my view. I say choose with your heart in this one. Yes. Right? Let your heart guide you. Sometimes a lot of logic may not necessarily lead you in the right way. But I think whatever your heart tells you, in this case, listen to it. Almost your sixth sense in terms of where you feel you might belong a bit better. And then when you have felt the feeling, the warmness, so to speak, then join and prepare to contribute. Don't hold back, because that group that you're joining or the community you're joining is what it is because there are people giving back, there are people contributing. So no point in getting in and just sucking. You need prepare to contribute. Again, it'll be a little bit outside your comfort zone, but do it anyway. And then this is just so in that case, you are in a group already, you have belonged and you're in it. So, hopefully happy days. But then, if you aren't, at the moment and you're feeling, or you are in a group, but you're still not fitting in very well, or whatever other reason, and you feel you want to join our UK-wide Mawingu group, as much as I said, there's bereavement, but we are growing. It won't just be bereavement. There are things we will grow into over time. You're welcome. You're welcome to come and join us in Mawingu. And remember, like I said at the beginning, where our parents were introducing us to connect to networks and communities, and therefore we didn't need to make an effort. Yeah. It is our turn to have these networks and communities so that we can do the same for our kids. They don't have to start from zero. Yeah. They can start from at least 5 or 6 communities, and they can grow from there. So we pass it on to them too.
Okay, so I'll just say thank you so much. I'll just mention some few communities, and if you either live, I don't know all of them, but we can try and get you, regardless of where you are, regardless of which country you are in. You're just outside Kenya, it doesn't matter where. You can reach out to somebody, and somebody might know somebody who knows somebody somewhere. So don't be by yourself. Exactly. Don't suffer silently. Reach out to somebody and belong to a community. Here in the UK, because I live in the UK, so I would know more in the UK than in any other country. But in the UK, first of all, we have SCKK. SCKK stands for Southeast and Kent Kenyans. So if you live around Southeast and Kent, this is just for people who live around Southeast and Kent. And of course, we have Mawingu, and Alex is here. And with Mawingu, it's for anybody and anybody who is anywhere. It's not just for a certain community or a certain borough. And then we also have ELEC, which is East London Kenyans. So Kenyans who live in East London, if you're there and you need to be somewhere, it's called ELEC. We also have North London Kenyans. So if you live in North London, we also have a group there for North London. We have a group for people who live in Liverpool. So if you live in Liverpool or around that area as well, we have a group there. If you live in Peterborough, we also have a group in Peterborough if you live there. We have a group in Leeds if you want to, if you live around Leeds or Hull, we have a group around Leeds and Hull. If you live, we also have, if you live in Scotland, we also have a group in Scotland. And also, we also have a group called Social and Networking. I'm telling you, this group is one of the best groups that I know, because when something happens, they actually stand out to help. And they've helped people that I've witnessed, because I'm part of that group. And even though it's based more in Cumbria, so if you're around Cumbria, if you're around, that is really far from London. If you're around Cumbria, join the Social and Networking group as well. And then we also have a group that only is for Luo women. So if you're a Luo woman, there's a group also called Luo Sanctuary. So if you're a Luo woman within UK, only UK women, and not because you're married to a Luo man, but because you are not because you're married to a Luo man, but because you're a Luo yourself. And then we also have Luo men as well. I think they copied the Luo women. I think they copied the Luo women. They're like, oh, our wives are going, us too, let us go, which is good anyway. So we have Luo men as well. And then we also have a group for men, just for men. It doesn't matter if you're Luo, you're Luya, you're Masai, Kikuyu, it doesn't matter. So we also have that as well. We also have just for men. And then we have, of course, we have Switzerland, which Bashir is here. So Kenya, Swiss connections, that one too as well. You don't have to be in Switzerland. You can be anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere and everywhere. And then we also have a group in Germany. And in Germany, there's a group for Luyas. Okay, so Luya people. And it's also Luya women. So Luya women. Not because you're married to a Luya, but you're a Luya yourself. And we have people like DJ Caro. We have people like Beverly in Germany that you can contact. And then also in Netherlands, we also have a group in Netherlands. We have people like Matasio, DJ Gava, we have Kadogo, we have Joy, who runs Awe, African Women's in Europe. So we have that as well in Netherlands. And we also have in Belgium, you can contact a lady called Helen as well. We have in Belgium. We have in America, we have One Voice Consortium as well, which have more than 100,000 people. In France, we have Kifua, Kenyans in France Umbrella Association. And which country did I live? And also, I am so impressed because I spoke to the ambassador of Ghana, and he said that they have an association of Kenyans in Ghana. So if you live around Ghana, Nigeria, maybe that you can join them. Okay, but Kenyans who are in Ghana, there's a Kenyan association that actually the embassy has endorsed. Okay, which is very good because most embassies, they don't want to know. And we also have a group in Italy with a guy called John, who started also a group in Italy. So we have so many groups. If you are somewhere and you want to join, please reach out. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Bashir. You can reach out to Alex. You can reach out to any of us, and we'll know somebody who knows somebody, and we'll connect you to the right people. Others, I would say thank you so much. Thank you very much for joining us again today, Wednesday. And we're here again next week on Wednesday. Now, next week on Wednesday is going to be very, very interesting. You know why? We are going to talk about our history because we are celebrating 58 years of independence. I think we are the first, I don't know, but let me just say this. I'm saying it because when it comes to Kenya, I don't want to hear about anything else, which is so biased sometimes. But we are the first African countries that started fighting the independence. Okay, somebody's looking at me like, it was Ghana, it was Nigeria. I'm talking about Kenya. I don't care. I'm talking about Kenya right now. So next week, we're here. We're trying to look for people who fought the Mau Mau, people who fought in the Mau Mau, to come and tell us a little bit about our story and the reason why Kenya is celebrating 58 years of independence. The white man did not just wake up and say, take your country back. There are people who fought, lost their lives, lost their children, their fathers, their mothers, their wives, their husbands on the process of that. We should not ignore that. We should not neglect that. We should not forget that. We should not just celebrate. We are celebrating 58 years of Kenyan independence, and we are laughing, we're singing our national anthem, we're eating food and giving some speeches, 2, 3, 4 speeches, and we're done. That is not the reason why we are celebrating 58 years. We are celebrating 58 years because of those people who fought for us. And yes, next week on Wednesday, we're here. We're going to learn some of our history. So Bashir, bring your children. I mean, not your children, but your school children. Alex, gather them and mix them. Let's learn our history next week. So next week on Wednesday, we're here again, 6:30 p.m. London time and 9:30 p.m. Kenyan time. Until then, love you so much. And I'll say what we always say, it can only be God. See ya.